fact, this reminds me of one of my videos too while I'm about it. Politicking to be a planet kind of falls into the same alignment with what we talking about. Peace, peace. Happy now is a vibrate, of course. Y'all know what time it is not. But I want to get into the aspect of dealing with, politics. Kind of just dabble into the wordplay of it, and just deeper meanings and occult, you could say, like occult meanings dealing with politics, but a matter of fact, apologies for the video. I was going to do the video earlier, and matter of fact, and something happened, things popped up, then came later, walking back. Matter of fact, and I had to prove myself, like my higher self had me prove myself to make sure, which I'm a little uh late, you know, uh, but walking back here from the store, trying to hurry up and get back, like I had like two people, stop me. But more so, again, not two people stopping me, like my higher self, making sure, like I'm like, hey, I gotta go make this video, like speaking up for myself. Cause a lot of times, too, with that empath vibe, empath, it's just more so about us not speaking up. But I am always voting, not just during human elections. So I was holding up. Matter of fact, blessings, SRJP, Superfly, Shimmer, Intuitions. But, you know, we are always voting, you know, uh, with like the food, we purchase from the store, what we watching on TV, you know, uh, it's a constant, you know, voting and politics going on, you know, just to get into some wordplay, you know, when people going, I'm going to the polls, man. I'm going to vote. We're going to the polls and vote. Polls being POLLS, but also like the polls are polarities. Because you're going to vote for this person or that person, Republican or Democrat. As a matter of fact, that whole situation again is created to indirectly subconscious programming, like voting for something separate. Like instead of like voting on something, like coming together on something, like how I put that, let me see. It's not so much about picking a side, but more so of taking a vote of all the things that we like and dislike. Like taking a poll on that level, or taking a vote from everybody on that level, not us being pushed this red or blue pill. You know, shout out to red and blue pill. But in an analogy, this red or blue pill, Republican, Democrat, this party, that party, and having to choose, like choose a side, you got to choose. Which, again, them mimicking, just the polarity of the universe in essence. And I say the universe, but polarity, within our, you know, immediate realm of existence. But the magnetism affects you like a little Taurus feel. They're trying to get you to vote for different sides. You know, and also, it's like election time is always like right after November. I mean, right after October, like the end of October, going into November. And also remembering that again, oct mean eight. No in essence, uh, it's like 9, and December like 10. So also exposing that these months, these months were like in its rightful place at one time, but then somebody came around and turn it into you know the 12th month instead of the 10th month, and the 11th month instead of the ninth month. You know what I'm saying? Like change all that around. But anyway, when the veil is at its thinnest, and that that Scorpio energy, dealing with Pluto, that underworld, things coming into the light. Matter of fact, I kind of look at it too as like allowing for dirty laundry to be aired out, right around that time. But that's when the veil is at its thinnest. Also, to use that energy in to their advantage, with working, whatever they gotta, do to try to, influence people to vote for them. And blessings, y'all. Matter of fact, the Greek meaning for, politics in essence is polis. And polis is like basically meaning like a city or a state. When we think about a state, we use that word like our state of being. You know what I'm saying? Like what state of being you in? It's like a state. And a polis, like we're gonna take a poll on what state of being you in. You know, but you see the little correlations, even election being kind of like, electricity, dealing with the masculine energy. Now, also dealing with polis, Plato reading. Matter of fact, this little information too, coming from, let's see, basically about Plato and speaking on the definition or analyzing the polis, his little view on the situation. Plato analyzes the polis or the republic, whose Greek title, politia, itself derives from the word polis. The best form of government of the polis for Plato is the one that leads to the common good. Let me pause right there. Common good, to our extreme happiness, our bliss. The philosopher king, what they call it, the philosopher king is the best ruler because as a philosopher, he is acquainted with the form of the good. Let's see. And Plato's analogy of the ship of state. Matter of fact, in ship, we think about everything about maritime law is about being on the ship, uh, apprenticeship, and passing the bar exam to be out in the water. But again, in Plato's analogy of the ship of state, the philosopher king steers the polis, and steers in essence is another word for govern. We talk about government, govern your mental, steering your mental. The philosopher king steers the polis as if it were a ship in the best direction, you know. And again, that's kind of like steering is like dealing with the definition of govern. And you start to see, matter of fact, I always bring up Osmosis Jones. I don't know if y'all watched that movie before, but spoiler alert, with basically Chris Rock playing like a white blood cell within the body of I forgot who was the other actor in the movie, but anyway, in the inside of the body was like this city in essence. But you could think about too the inside of our body like has a vote, Matter of fact, in between the mind, body, and soul, is a voting situation going on. With the politics of, where you either listening to just one, like just your body, and then it becomes, a one-minded way of being steered, the energy being steered in a one-sided way or being governed in a one-sided manner. When the mind, body, and soul is off, it throws off the whole situation. And, and dealing with a state of bliss, matter of fact, like with us, you know, whether it's, raising Kundalini, uh, or just in all honesty, just enjoying life, to its fullest in general, but also like again on the metaphysical forms of it, basically, creating bliss situations of, allowing our Taurus field to spin even more, like to make our plasma body, bigger. Because matter of fact, speaking of politicking to, be a planet on that video where I kind of speak on, you know, through the vibe of unconditional love. And unconditional love don't mean like nice to letting people run over you or none of that. It's about being authentic. Because in order to, you gotta love yourself. In essence, that's why you're protecting yourself, from any harm. But anyway, and it's also dealing with constructive wave interference and how the waves constructively interfere in our Taurus field whenever we have more of a fractal, Taurus field, and that comes from having bliss experience, As a matter of fact, shout out to Dan Winter, because I also brought up one of his, like you could say, definitions, or what he brought up for dealing with a body polis. And like a body polis, a hive of bees cannot swarm until there is a plasma cloud, which navigated by royal blood, which is implosive and can steer into stars. Now, and literally meaning again that becoming a cloud of bliss, like creating a blissful experience, which again, dealing with a body polis or politics, you know, the politics of the body, what we doing when we smoking a cigarette, listening to the politics of the body, the body still in that state, where it's being governed or steered in the direction of, you know, unhealthy habits, you know. And again, I took, because I didn't want to say good or bad, just say unhealthy habit, but that's the body polis. That's where the energy is being governed in that direction. Because the collective consciousness, in essence, is like the body polis, and us, creating a certain vibration collectively, across the conscious field is like, voting in essence as well. Just by a lot of us becoming aware of what's really going on, and that being in the collective, that allows for that to trickle into other people's auric field. But and blessings, y'all. I'm gonna get to the to some of the questions as well. But the function, so the whole function of politics is to create bliss. And again, like when we think about bliss, like and again, some of this is also from Dan Winter, where he speak on that quote unquote like that, the function of politics is to create bliss. But when you think about it again, to create again, when I was just talking about Plato analyzing the polis and talking about to You know, the best form of government of the polis for Plato is the one that leads to the common good. You know, common meaning, you know, common across the board, that everything is all good, you know, everything is blissful. So again, in essence, the function of politics is to create bliss. Political systems, basically though, on the opposite side of that, not trying to create bliss, because another thing about bliss, you know, when a bunch of beings come together in blissful states, you know what I'm saying? So, excuse me, in masses, as we start to become aware of connecting with higher self, become aware of aligning our chakras, you know, as we become again more in alignment with higher self, let's just say, and our Taurus field starts to grow, our plasma body starts to grow through that growth of our soul energy, through that chi. It gets to a point where our energy itself becomes a governing body, again, and speaking of body polis and bees, they reference this on the movie Jupiter Ascending, where she had the bees flying around her, symbolizing that she was royal blood, but again, the blissful state. So a bunch of us, getting into this, state of being becomes that governing. Like just like when I'm around my family, for instance, whenever I'm sitting around and like, you better eat this, you better eat that, I'm not getting through to them trying to, forcefully speak on. Matter of fact, like the egoic mind form of politics, like you see it, like you should do this or you should eat this, or and it's like, nah, I actually create a difference, just by maintaining my own being, just by, like, hey, y'all eat what y'all eat. Now, matter of fact, now granted, I did cheat over the weekend, but again, still, like, matter of fact, today all I ate was an apple and drunk some water, and had a few little pistachios. But you know, again, me affecting the energy field, within this area just by maintaining my own energy, or, my own quote unquote body polis, you know, having that fractality, you know, and also dealing with the energy of, you know, dealing with our bodies, it is also always remembering, yes, that, this body suit, is just what we use, and it's just like taming a dragon while we in this physical realm, is nothing that we're trying to worship nor throw in the trash can, but you know, being aware though that a lot of, the sciences that are presented dealing with, mathematics of, being in this realm, and certain physics, especially if it's coming from in like NASA or anybody, from that ilk, definitely needs to be triple checked, if not even if just left alone in general. But again, forgot what. That's me trying to move fast. Apologies. But basically, the oh yeah, getting to that point too, what a government decision making should be about. Like, are we helping the people's auric field to grow, or are we causing the people's auric field to, dwindle down? You know, and that's the whole thing too. Where I realize, as much as some of the sciences too, you know, uh, like say for instance, yoga or breathing techniques, or knowing about your auric field, certain types of things could be like, again, like learning how to to be great, how I say, not really locking yourself down, but getting too into the science of this matrix, and not just just the reality of just connecting with your soul in general, you know, getting too caught up in the science of it. But, again, that's why I deal with a lot of what Dan went to speak on, because the science of it, you know, for the most part, deals with the actual, you know, ancient information. Let's just put it like that. But again, it is about, like, you know, throwing away everything we learned and relearning everything, So even as I'm speaking on this, you gotta deal with what resonates with you, and leave the rest. It's not about just listening to me just cause, You definitely, if you don't resonate with the information, then you shouldn't try to. If it's not, if you feel that thrown off by it. But again, a blissful population becomes the energetic governing force of an area. And since the government is focused on controlling us, they have to continuously disrupt bliss, by creating, areas, say for instance, like in our hoods where I can't get no vegan food or no healthy food nowhere around here. I could go get some fries from Wendy's for $1 though, and I could go get, like, some candy and junk food. And just like they had these parades, they had these parades around here, they throw that old candy for free, you know. But if we had some better candy stores around, these things of this nature. And again, dealing with voting, and I was telling somebody, like, on a small scale, that's why I'm going to vote now that I know I'm registered right here in my little city, because I'm like, for the aldermen and mayors and all that, I'm like, that vote count in essence of, like, we're gonna really see, that person get them votes, and that person really, depending on how they keep up with their words and stuff, though, but they will be the people governing certain areas of our neighborhoods, and that's a fact, so it is, that does play a part. But, like, when it comes to voting, where all you see is the same congressman pushed in your face, or the people from these royal families, like what fucking Obama kin to Dick Cheney, and Bush kin to this one, Alistair Crowley, so say, Bush grandfather, his, his what it was, his dad. So his mom's his mom's mom was slept with Alistair Crowley, and it said that his mom is a child of Alistair Crowley. But anyway, you know, with voting for all that situation, it's like voting for the same, thing that, again, insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. To go line up and vote for the same situation that has been giving us nothing and really killing shit across the world, domestically and internationally. You know, the proof is in the pudding. I'm not claiming anything that I couldn't back up with any factual information. You know, Operation Northwood. What it is, USS Madison. Like, but again, voting. So, and when I'm speaking to generally, it's just, how I feel about voting in general. Outside of the, again, backing out of the esoteric vibes and stuff for a second, and just, speaking on it in general is like, again, on like my neighborhood, and we have a is a population of like shit, it should be at least 20,000 at this point. But let's just say between 17 to 23,000 people, within this city, and a little more within this parish or whatever. Matter of fact, we only stay with parishes with that old foolishness. But anyway, matter of fact, and that's why, dealing with old just energy, I think people born in Louisiana they so have to deal with letting go of traditions, like literally, because this is like like us being in this physical form. That's why I did a video too with this place being like an afterlife, where the people we coming across is other people, with the same burdens, and that's why our families, have these little fake signal. We got cancer in our family, or this and that. It's like all the karmic, energy. So like people born or that come from a certain city or certain area, you know, it's all no coincidence with any of that. Just like it's no coincidence for them building certain state capitals and certain cities and certain areas, because of the ley lines and certain energies. The mounds out here in Baton Rouge, on the bluff. But back to again the voting vibes on that higher level. And as I'm speaking on this, unless I'm a person where unless I say, and I hate anybody who go vote, like I hate all y'all. Like unless I say that, then I'm not meaning that. I'm not gonna sideways speak to it. I'm gonna say what I mean. So as I'm speaking on how I feel about voting on that, for like that kind of. Now I say, for instance, I do feel the vibes of like at least trying with voting for certain little bills or whatever. Like they might be passing this bill, whether you get three strikes or not. Stuff like that. It's like, hey, again, we working in all areas. We're gonna do our best. But again, that's why I spoke to that on a post I did earlier about just getting our subconscious back and learning how to create, and knowing that we've been duped with these religions and stuff trying to control us, and you realize that a lot of it is to control us. When you start to realize the true nature of things, it's like everything seems like it's trying to tame you. Who trying to tame you? But who trying to govern your mental? You know, govern your body, polis. But again, the voting vibes, to each his own on how you feel. Like again, I could do local. You know, I'm gonna go catch a little local vibe after this video. But that extraness is like we need to be working on ways to, again, get our subconscious mind back, start with, getting eating a little more, healthier, keeping our temple healthier, meditating, clearing our minds, starting in that area. The body polis, the body, matter of fact, like Osmosis Jones, like when Osmosis Jones, end up having to go toe to toe with the virus, and he end up, doing his thing. But it was like a vote in essence. Like as far as like, a matter of fact, body pool is like the brethren was eating all kind of nasty stuff and unhealthy, And that's how the virus got in there in the first place. It was starting to spread, but the body was like, oh no, we're gonna fight. And Chris Rock was the white blood cell, doing the thing, and the body fought, 'Cause if I'm eating a bunch of, or just consuming healthy things on all levels, again, because this body, again, subconscious. No, the subconscious is always taking ballots, so to speak. The subconscious mind is always, receiving information and creating your surroundings as it's receiving, you know. So, but again, that's why they always trying to disrupt the bliss, and throw our energies off. Because the blissful state of being, matter of fact, when we're in a blissful state of being, we're not being negative. We have no reason to be negative. So that means we're not fucking with each other in the wrong man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I, you know, to be funny about it, but realistically though, like, and I spoke to that video I did recently on constructive wave interference and destructive wave interference. Like, one wave vibrating high on one level, and then this other wave coming in, vibrating, on a lower level with the trough meeting the the crest of the other one, and bam, they end up clashing, and end up flatlining, like how politicking to no waves left, but and again, it's just the two sides to one coin and trying to split everybody up. That's also a subconscious programming in that. Again, speaking to these high levels, dealing with higher levels with presidency and stuff like that. Why we ain't never seen nobody we just took from our neighborhoods, because newsflash, melanated people are not a minority on this planet and in this country. But yet, it's like why we don't never get nobody that represents us in the state of Congress, you know, since everything is so democratic. You know what I'm saying? Again, there's these euphemisms and all these things spoken on, but it doesn't really do anything, you know. Like again, it's just keeping the same energy, the same agenda in place, dealing with that. But let me get to, blessings, y'all. I don't know. Mateo Mars, blessings. Straight Panther, blessings. Cornbot, blessings. Tori Indigo, Vesica, Sing, blessings, blessings. Almighty Jamal, Timekeeper. No matter of fact, and I see somebody said something about Baal ritual, also with Molech, with them worshiping the little owl in Bohemian Grove, and the the fake cremation of care, you know, fake. Matter of fact, 'cause that's why, speaking of politics, that's why Nixon got, ousted. That Watergate bullshit, that was just some shit to just kind of like, hey, boy, you better listen the way we tell you to listen next time. Because he had a quote speaking on like the Bohemian Grove situation where he was like, I'm not trying to go in the woods, butt naked, hugging redwood, stuff like that, kind of speaking on that situation. Also the Molech, I think even from the biblical standpoint was about worshiping children and women, and what does this country does, but belittle what the Bible, they have no woman did nothing. Women is to blame for everything in the Bible, you know. any other little scriptures, if they ain't to blame, they definitely not written in a manner of like how it should be in the essence again. Like uh I'll get my drawing later, but you know, again the single. Matter of fact, nope, I'm not gonna get it later. Let me grab it right here. Since I'm right here. How we talk about the single. In the Smeagol book. How the one dot of consciousness, stays in one area, then that like consciousness reaches out, you know, into a circle. Matter of fact, and that's how you end up getting the flower of life pattern. And then that consciousness moves to the furthest part of the last area of its consciousness. Matter of fact. So say for instance, if it started right here and reached out in this circle, then it moved to the furthest point, bam, and then it reached out right here, you know, and then bam. So right after that step, you get, you know, I put two nipples, breasts, ass, vesica Pisces, the yoni, the vagina. You could think about the constellation of Fucus, because it's considered the center of the galaxy. But you see why the feminine aspect also, as above, so below. Embryos start off as females first. That's why men got nipples and don't give no milk out of them. You know, like well, I got you got this because we all started off as female embryos first. You know, and again, so even starting from that single point. And from darkness let there be light. From the darkness of the womb, man. The triple darkness, the three trimesters. 9 months. Took 9 months to make it. But I don't know how we got to to that vibe. Matter of fact, though, and also, hey, magnetism also deals with the feminine aspect, and that also looks like female body parts as well. The feminine energy is smooth, round, magnetized. That's also why uh, a female should, matter of fact, the body pole is the politics of the body. Definitely being aware of what energy she is allowing within her temple. You know, what kind of solar phallic light she's allowing to light up her womb. You know, but listen, y'all. Yeah, vote local. What do I think will happen with politics? uh, Eventually, it's gonna get to a point where we're gonna start realizing that what we focus on grows, and not that we're gonna be ignoring it, but just more so just focus on building our inner, like just the inner constructs of our communities, and realizing more and more that that shit is bullshit, and the voice of all of us just coming together and getting loud, the body police, because as above, so below, we in the body, so again, that's why I was using the Osmosis Jones analogy, the noise going to just, get louder, because again, uh, you start to realize that to a certain extent, the freedom is a choice, especially in these times right now, and of course, like with the subconscious programming, put on certain people, and things of that nature. Of course, in their minds, they felt like they had no other choice, but, the fact of the matter is, I always use, the native reservations in America and like Haiti, how like these two places, where like Haiti is independent nation, and then you got these reservations there in essence, because these was like the natives that just fought and was like, nah, bro, like it ain't nothing, like and just kind of they was like, all right, fuck it, we gonna let y'all keep this little area. So that's kind of living proof that that people don't just get murked off from standing up for this. And again, not to say this about uh, focusing on that, but that is the reality of the situation. Though again, it's not trying to ignore what is the reality, because knowing about stuff like that, again referencing the past when it has relevance to the now, you know, and now our past that has been hidden from us is very relevant to be dealing with, extremely relevant, extremely relevant to be dealing with right now. But that's the basic. Let's see. No, yeah, that's what the question started with. But I think it was gonna happen with politics. Yeah, I think it's just going, just constantly falling through our awareness, because the subconscious mind creates the physical realm. Like this is not even, a joke or no magic trick. I mean, it is a magic trick or what they consider magic, uh, but it's again when we get a certain awareness, start to have this temple and this body polis on point. Again, like I said earlier, like a bunch of beings, having their energetic shit together, so to speak, you know, becomes a governing body within itself, you know, and we all a part of a collective consciousness, you know. Collective consciousness personified as like the internet in essence, you could say. But, you know, tapping into the collective. You notice the more the body polar switch, the vote, the 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 cells looking to be healthy went out to vote in the body. It's like fuck this. We voting for some healthy food and this motherfucker liver toe up like a motherfucker. Like we going, you know what I'm saying? That poll, they send it up to the city hall. You know, like, I'll put like this to to this area to process it, also to the heart, process it, and went through the little ranks, and they're like, all right, y'all get what y'all asked for, get what y'all voted for. And it's a balance again between, doing our metaphysical work, and altar work, you know, uh, doing our visualizations, making sure we keeping our energy, righteous. But again, it's certain things, we do in this physical realm, because it's definitely not about us running from the physical realm while we in the physical, we're in these bodysuits for a reason right now, and my high self was like, I can't stand that cliche thing. For a reason right now, because yeah, it is one of them cliche ass, statements, but for lack of a better expression right now. As a matter of fact, politicking to be a, a, a planet as above, so below. Also, like with taking memory through transition or taking memory through death, or being immortal in essence. Because that's another thing too. It's not necessarily about trying to stay immortal on this realm. It's like shit graduating. Like it's other, what I'm saying, there's higher levels of existence, past this physical realm right here. And somebody trying to trick us in. That's why a lot of shows and stuff be about, having immortality on a physical plane, instead of constantly, growing. And which to each his own on, how they feel about that. I'm with that that shaman vibe, it's just like, hey, and more so popular, but like, to each his own. But but basically, again, making and you see why, so it would make sense about the science of making our torus feel stronger, meaning like, having a stronger spin, a stronger tornado, you know and matter of fact, speaking of fractality, Dan went to bring that up too, like, notice how tornadoes don't, like, they fuck up a trailer park, but but they don't fuck up the pyramids. He killed me when he said that. When he was like, because he talk about steel and aluminum not having fractality, and I done spoke to that in some videos before too, like where them putting us in these hospitals, in the most important parts of our transitioning into this realm, or transitioning in this realm or out of this realm, both. It's like transitioning in when we, coming in as babies, and then when we leaving out, they got us around all this metal, aluminum, steel, and all this shit, fucking with our plasma field, Because also proving that wearing less clothes or wearing hemp clothes helps with our plasma field as well. And you see that naturally with the indigenous tribes, they really not trying to wear a bunch of clothes. But again, creating a stronger centripetal motion or a stronger spin on the tornado or the torus field. Because again, when we step to these next levels, and again, realizing, again, mastering this level of co-creating in this physical plane with all this going on, being able to be focused in, you know, and manifest, what we truly want, desire, and again, uh, learning how to focus in that energy and creating that bliss, creates a bigger auric field. And I recently spoke to that, like, well, we floating through like little cookie cutter. There's a possibility, like, like, well, if your auric field is a certain size, it's like, all right, you could go to this next part, but wherever it's not, you stay, on this little realm. And again, like, this realm may be another realm higher than the physical existence, but again, it's levels, and they talk about seven heavens, got seven chakras, you know, got seven layers of heart muscles. But so again, because we vibing more too outside of a physical, a physical body in essence. So it's a less dense, like, say for instance, like with me having this physical little bodysuit that, my parents named Carl Ray, you know, or that I probably told them to call me Carl Ray. Anyway, it has this soul, like this light prism, and sometimes why they say, the hex, being locked in the box or the cube, the black box of Saturn, carbon, You know, our melanin, carbon, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, 666, the devil. Ooh, we locked down in the physical. Anyway, it's a bodysuit. You know what I'm saying? Holding, this soul more in place. Holding this consciousness a little more in place compared to when I step up to another realm, and I'm dealing with a body that has a less dense vibration. So I have to be strong, my consciousness has to be strong and focused, in order to maintain my consciousness, so to speak, going up to the higher levels, you know but again, just matter of fact, just like a live enzyme, when we, within the fruits and veggies that have a live torus field, until we heat it up from cooking it and causing the torus field to stop spinning. You know, like, and that's why the food don't be bringing no life in us. But what do I do for a living? My YouTube channel, working into doing consultations and readings, and also making sure I start doing music in some way, form, or fashion, and doing the jewelry. Matter of fact, reason why the jewelry slowed up, I just hit like a part of my growth, like coming back and having like a little depression about, like, damn, I'm not able to get my stuff quick, like how, so I just had a little stumble in my vibration a little bit. You know, resistance makes stronger. Cause yeah, it is definitely about, again, not chasing, no money or anything like that, but in some form or fashion, where having you know, uh, multiple avenues of income, you know, because we are gonna soon, eventually get to a place where the money as we know it won't exist. We gotta be careful because they're trying to do some more new world order money type of shit. One money across the board. And again, how they program us and try to play with us with these movies, all these little movies on dystopias, be showing how the shit, what they really trying to implement. That's why I always bring up the name Hunger Games. And a lot of older videos always would just be like, man, the Hunger Games, man, the Hunger Games. Yep, meditate today. And you ain't gotta be in the lotus position. The lotus position is just to hold, to keep the chi energy in the vital organs. From the waist on up. You know, and it also helps for uh, a good stance to be in, to really have your back straight and be in a position for like a long periods of time. Like for being still for long periods of time with your back straight, the lotus position allows for that. But again, I told somebody, man, you could just lay down across your bed like this here, just to start off, to like get into a place of like, and I'm exaggerating, but I mean, whatever feels comfortable, what I'm saying, as far as like to get into the meditation, to just clearing your mind. But then, yeah, once you start doing chakra meditations on that level, you gotta make sure your spinal cord is straight. You know, just like antenna. Once you want to be standing up so you can, you know, because there's something to altitude as well, you know, like the high vibrations. You know, that's why I feel a difference in more of the grounded root chakra vibe of like Louisiana compared to Cali and the mountains, you know, and uh also you got Mount Shasta around there, and you got like LA is the third eye chakra, something going on, some type of ley line dealing with gotta be the third eye chakra. But anyway, see, I do. Oh, with the energies and altitudes, because I think about how like Ethiopia has the best, you know, coffee beans and one of the best land strands of herb. You know, Ethiopian Highland is one of the best land strands of cannabis, and you know, the coffee from Ethiopia, but you know, them high altitudes, you know. So it's something too just physical, you know, high, and then again within our body, you know, our lower chakra is closer to the ground, you know. High chakras with higher vibrations and a higher color of vibration, you know, because red vibrates at a slower frequency than you know, purple or violet. You know, I should say. So, that's basically it for the body polar vibe. Appreciate everybody. Uh, you know, matter of fact, shout out to the domestic fam and shout out to the international family. Blessings to everybody. Just trying to see if I ain't missing. Jason White, do you observe or celebrate Diwali at all? No, I don't. But like, if it's something that's real important, I bet you, whatever day it's on, my higher self will have me doing some shit on that day. Like that's how it works. If it's lined up with with some energy, for sure, for sure. Uh, in some way, form, or fashion, I'ma be like, man, I should probably get a candle today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I be catching them vibes and feeling like it's something random when there ain't nothing random, ain't no coincidences in this thing. Matter of fact, y'all about to see what's also happening too, with the underworld being exposed, like more of like the racism about to get more obvious and blatant, you know. And again, that's part of us, like you know, just it coming to the light, you know, not for us to be trolled by it or focus on it, but just again on some, like, I'm because I'm seeing it, like I'm even seeing like in just the way, like, well, even if I was trying not to add those things up, they just be blaringly obvious. Like from watching the football game and the way they talk, it's like disciplining a slave. Like I saw one version like with a dude celebrating, and, you know, and indirectly, you know, black people loud and like to dance and shit like that. Throw a touchdown going, and then they just kept focusing in on, and he could have lost the team this touchdown, and they just kept. I'm like, bro, this is what things way more important, but it's like that fucking subconscious. It was basically like I, I could just envision the will. I'm like, God damn, this shit is becoming so obvious. This is all a blessing, you know. It's the pressure that makes a diamond. Again, we not being trolled by it, but we not ignoring it on some on some new age bull crap. Matter of fact, and oh yeah, I think they do have a new moon right now. I think coming tonight, or today or tomorrow. I'm not sure. Since I didn't catch it earlier, I just was like, oh, if anything, I probably just do like it'll be indirectly in the energy update type of video. When I'm going back to Cali, either this month or in January. You know, it all depends. I'm soaking up in the little family vibes. What do you? Oh, Kathy, what do you? Are you talking to somebody else? Star Nubia, blessings. So the crystals do what they want, huh? No, I'm gonna get me some tarot cards. I finally, I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to get some tarot cards. I was about to break down which I'm gonna still do, break down my own little way of doing it with playing cards as well. With each different four suits could be like the four elements. Uh, and just the different numbers having their little energies. It's just something I could make it happen. Which I already saw a book too with a little explanation for it. With stuff like that, I do like to do my own little intuitive vibe. Oh yeah, you could hit a level or you go to do one thing, and it like you say, you go to put in the sun and it actually be buried. Matter of fact, I tell people that's how to work with your altar. When some people ask like, should I put this like Oshun altar on the same altar as Ogun? I'm like, you just gotta feel it. If something telling you no strongly, then don't do it. If something telling you it's cool, then do it. You gotta be off of your own vibe. You dealing with energies inside of you, not me. I mean, traditionally, you know what I'm saying, it would be better to, have, their own little space as much as possible. But, whenever that's not possible, doing your best is what counts. Yep, we don't control the crystals, only work with them. They're our little friend. But that's it for, the body police, voting of the body, and how politics, all these different situations mimic, again, as above, so below, how the universe operates. But I think that's about it. Seeing if I have any other information to add to that. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain. So I'm gonna start doing whenever I'm looking for something or doing something. It's like the elevator music. You know, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Basically, remember to, you know, learn about programming the subconscious, getting the subconscious back. You know, these movies, Hollywood, you know, the magic. You know, matter of fact, speaking of body police, you know, again, as above, so below, you know, us is, you know, the whole little ecosystem of everything in this plane of existence. You know what I'm saying? You know, with Hollywood pushing these certain agendas and certain movies, and you know what I'm saying, and it's pushing a certain, you know, again, basically having a certain control over the subconscious minds, and if it has a control over the subconscious minds, that means people are governing themselves on autopilot. Because a lot of people don't know, like in essence, your subconscious mind is damn near like what you're doing, like autopilot mode of like just what comes first, you know, on a subconscious level, you know. So your mind, you know, like even though you might not think less of yourself as I feel you think less of yourself as a person. Like I'm trying to think of a certain like different scenarios where they sneakily, you know, like where you might not feel like you fear the end of the world coming, but indirectly, subconsciously, if you're not strong or reinforcing your subconscious to know better, you know, like say when 2012 was coming around, all these movies was about the end of the world, the end of the world, the end of the world, the end of the world. We're just trying to program everybody conscious and be real with you. Go look up Orson Welles' War of the World broadcast and what they fucking again what this you could go look this up. Stop right now. Go Google it. Everybody leave the chat, right? I'm just saying. But you know, Orson Welles, but like that programming with all these 2012 movies of the end of the world, the end of the world, that was indirectly a new age, a new little way of them pulling the Orson Welles stunt to a certain extent. But you know, say for instance the Orson Welles thing where they played a broadcast on the radio as if, you know, shit was being taken over by aliens or some shit. You know, and everybody freaked out. But what they was using that as evidence of, and I spoke to this lately in one of my videos, like how we do it. they did it as if to say, well, you see how y'all panic and stuff like this. This is why we can't tell y'all anything. This is why we can't tell y'all anything. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. You know, that's y'all with that fucking fear shit. You know, there's some beings out here that don't walk around fearing everything, that can handle things, and plus we growing in that area. So regardless if it looked like us had the illusion of being that way at one time, it's changing. But anyway, uh, you know, again with these 2012 movies that was coming out, you know, day after tomorrow and this and that, you know, all trying to, you know, fear monger people and create a certain mind frame, and then they waking up, you know, the next day or immediately and checking the box office and checking the little numbers and, you know, bookkeeping on you. You know, I spoke to that, and I think I spoke on that in a silent, in the Truman Show Alien Nation breakdown video, which is a long video, but it's worth checking out, y'all. Like, it's definitely worth checking out. I wouldn't steer you wrong, and I wouldn't have felt like honestly if I would have took 3 hours to say some bullshit. Well, I like because honestly I have as much as I do like one take. Well, do my best. 'Cause I do keep it real. But sometimes I don't like what's up mess it up because I was trying to force something. But like if I do a video for a long ass time, like I mean, put like this, I would have stopped it if I felt like I was bullshitting or, like it's like, oh no, erase this or this some bullshit. It's like, nah. Which, when I'm creating in the now, that's the thing too. It's never any bullshit. However I'm coming, however I'm feeling in the now is how I'm feeling in the now. You know, we all uniquely different, and our nows are uniquely, you know, has a little unique signature. You know. Matter of fact, I don't know if I brought that up too, back to the polis thing. With, again, like with politics and polis and also police or policy. Police are the people who steer the policy or oversee, like officer, oversee the policy. Police, politics, elect, ion, election, electricity. Elect the ion. We will want to elect the negative ion, but not a negative like as in harmful energy, but just negative in this as in the sense of the charge on a arithmetic, 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 on a mathematical level, you know, because negative ions cause the production of serotonin, make us feel good. Again, it's about us. The government, again, the decision making of the government should be, will this increase the aura and align the chakras of the people? Like, and this is what we should have been being taught in school. Like, we should have been having chakra coloring books. Matter of fact, probably from kindergarten on up, probably going through the root chakra. In the next grade, get into this, they could at least walk us through on some shit like that. But again, their intention wasn't to teach us no real shit. You know, down to having you in a school system in a box like the Skinner box. Like a jail. Time for lunch, time for chow. What's your lunch number? Like a prison number. Sit down and be quiet for a long amount of time, even though you're a little kid, you know, or get paddled by the warden or the principal, I mean, you know, wait for this bell to ring like in the Skinner box or like Pavlov's dogs, you know. Again, go look up Aldous Huxley. I keep forgetting that Brethren Skinner for his little initials. But the little Skinner box is the box that you always see that they do, personified. Matter of fact, Pink in the Brain having a little experiments done on the little lab rats, in the Skinner box. But again, will the school system help the children ours to grow? Which in Switzerland somewhere they do have the kids going to school. Somewhere I don't know. Don't quote me on Switzerland for sure. But somewhere in that area around where them banks be thriving at. Little school. They got the little schools to where the little kids running around bare feet because they know, you know, creating a state of bliss. If you're able to touch the ground bare feet, you're allowing that negative energy to come out of your energy field properly. You're blissful. You know, if we collectively creating a state of bliss, then we become a governing body within itself. Like on some, again, not even trying to like, we're being mean and trying to take over on some, and again, it's not being unauthentically nice. You know what I'm saying? This is about, just again, the unconditional love of like treating others as you would like to be treated. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and be real with you, again, this is more so too with us just, well, again, that aspect, but I want to say also again with the authenticity of just being, true to your true being, but just any and all things that are healthy for your Taurus field, you know what I'm saying? Your auric hygiene in that sense, like a piece of shungite, you know. Matter of fact, like again with decision making, you know, of the government, they should be asking themselves, will the chemtrails and Wi-Fi harm these little kids? Excuse me, not kids, that's small goats. Harm the little, which goats, little scapegoats, little kids, Molech worshiping, worshiping goats or little kids. Hey, in the Bible, damn, that's some shit right there. Anyway, uh, chemtrails and Wi-Fi. Matter of fact, as I'm bringing this up too, it ain't for like again to be for all the chemtrails. This is like the less you focus on it, the better. Man, I just ate some. I dealt with the ancestors and ascension symptoms, but more so with the ancestors because that had to be some magical work for me to feel good like this, the day after. But I ate gumbo loaded with some meat and all kind of seasoning GMO and all that. And, I'm pretty, I'm pretty good. Again, it's like subconscious programming. Again, if you look up my the videos I got, I got certain. I speak on the different aspects of subconscious programming and ways to help program your subconscious. And also though, because I'm a person where I'm always keep it 100 and always make sure that you could get the best of the best, you know, because from which I've learned a lot of information from matter of fact Brother Panic, and I don't know, but Brother Panic also has classes on a high level of clearing the subconscious. Matter of fact, and also speaking on that, because that's like I think it was Bobby Henry or both of them hit me to knowing about the book Cyclomancy, because that book there can help with that situation as well. And matter of fact, I have that book on PDF, and if you follow me on Instagram, Universal Frequencies, just send me a DM asking about the book, and it's just the just shout out your favorite Universal Frequencies video, in which I tell people straight up, I ain't even pulling no arms on that. If you like, oh fuck that, I don't want to do that, then I still send it to you, just off of the strength of that, Now, of course, not if you're gonna be disrespectful to me, but I mean, if you feel like that ain't what you want to do, it's still cool. It's all about getting information out there, but you know, yeah, that book Cyclomancy by Frank Rudolph. Matter of fact, yeah, that's the name of it. You go look it up. Be about, I don't know, unless things change. Last time I checked, 'cause matter of fact, I don't want to be like, now some people try to make things sound negative, so you could go through them. Like in other words, like because I think that book super expensive, so you better get it from me. I mean, it's not like I'm selling it, but like just say if I was like, cause yeah, it's about three. But I was about to say it in somewhat of that tone though, as if I was selling it my way. But I was gonna be like, if you go look on Amazon, it's about $300. Like you could go get it over there. You can shop with me. Get it for free from me. Yeah, yeah. Tour Indigo. I'm already doing that. In essence, this is like a new, like, yeah, I was about to say that word. This is a different, uh, matter of fact, and not to, that's another thing too. Not that I hate or against the word new age, because that's what I was about to say. But like we in a different realm, of existence, quote unquote, time. Our now is you know, different from the senses of, the way it always traditionally was. We creating a new, like we constantly evolving. We borrow some aspects of, again, like how going back into history when it has relevance to the now, and we do bring some aspects of, the ancient ancestors, forward into our now and into the future, but quote unquote future, but uh, like a lot of us like being a comedian is like being a shaman, a writer, act like, like matter of fact, do I have? Let me see. Uh, this is small. Cause I don't remember all them aspects from that video I did on it, but I just did something on it recently. About the shaman vibe. Yeah, like a shaman could be like a musician, a counselor, artist, writer, comedian. Because in essence, like say for instance, a medium in between realms. Some artists or writers, comedians even, or anybody that could be like clairvoyant. And again, because it's a sense like, oh, I got this on, so I'm a shaman, because I tell people, like, I just like dressing like this. Like, I just be liking to be on some different shit, and, and I feel like also it's like just a sign of, like, my little lineage coming out of me in essence, but also not getting stuck in it because I know it's not about being, stuck in the ways of my past lives and to be stuck in a dogmatized way of dealing with spirituality, in essence. Like to always constantly be growing in essence, never holding on to of course you deal with what works but never holding on to certain information. But again, like being a medium in between realms, bridging the physical and the spiritual realms, also could mediate between that community and neighboring communities, basically like playing a Papa Legba role, and never really picking sides, like how earlier I'm like, hey, you could vote, not vote, go for the, that's all, I'm just speaking. I'm just tap dancing on this line and laughing like the trickster, you know. But also like being the healer, healer of the mind, body, and soul. Some art could heal people, some stories heal people. Music could be healing for people. Laughing at a nice little, stand-up comedy show. Shout out to Dave Chappelle and what it was, the bird flu one he made or something like that. One of the latest ones on Netflix. That one's I tell people that one's almost like a like a straight up activist speech within itself. Like, like the act itself was that. But again, it's different aspects on being a shaman. Keeping up with community traditions and practices. You know, again, a lot of us indirectly being shamans, and healers, you know, priests, already, got crystals that, where I make jewelry. I also got crystals that, I hand out, little different oils that I make and let people use. You know, all that. Oh yeah, yeah, the real 2012. Yeah, really though. And what's funny, matter of fact, I want to even go look at that video because I did that video when I was in San Bernardino, and I did a video about the year 2020 spirit just movement to like just kind of really speak on it. And seeing how many times, and then again, I know the synchronicity of it, like 2020, like 2020 vision, like everybody gonna see in 2020. Everybody gonna see you 2020, literally and figuratively. Everybody gonna see what's really going on with spirituality. Who was telling the real? Who was telling the fake? Is any of this all real or fake? Next time on Dragon Ball Z. I'm not the owner. I do not own the copyrights to that little phrase or whatever and all that good stuff. I just had to say that. Yeah, that's a good way of kind of looking at it. The shimmer, like the deity guys coming from stars in the universe. Yeah, when I look at it, I definitely see like where we more so like alien beings in essence. But that's why too, like you see how they try to create the vibe of like we're making it seem like it's out there alien type of vibe with the pyramids and stuff. But it's like nah, that's with all these stories of like X-Men and Alien Nation, but indirectly talking about the melanated people on the planet or the melanated bodysuits, you know. And when I say this, that also mean the people who have the melanin activated who may not have a lot of skin melanin. But again, wait, I lost my. Oh yeah, with the alien vibes, cause that like I think I said that in a video recently. Even when I say indigenous, like I think it's more so indigenous from a form of like we just been around for a long fucking time on this planet. But just because we've been around for a long ass time on this planet, still don't mean that we from this planet, in that sense. You know. And which a lot of beings not, that's on this planet, not from this planet. Men in Black was leaking a lot of more sauce than I thought at one time, Like now I'm gonna go look at back at one. I'm like, bro, they was just leaking sauce. They was just like pouring the sauce on everybody's head. Like, ha, this is what's really going. Like, matter of fact, I spoke to Phil in a station like MIB around the Santa Monica area on one of my acid trip. But yeah, it's definitely, some vibes. Cause here it is, on one thing, again, they create the little stories, comparing and knowing that they, again, talking about melanated people, but then act as if they not like, it's like it's like, but we think that these are some real aliens. And then again, down to come across a book in Louisiana history book, or more so a Baton Rouge history book, and speaking about like around the Central Park, around the little cannons, how like certain artifacts dating back from as far back as 10,000 years old. I'm like, ooh, that's a big statement coming from a slave state. I'm like, bro, that's discrediting a lot of, the establishment in essence. I'm like, shit, that's speaking to cutting out a lot of that slave bullshit that they be trying to push. Cause yeah, some people came here, like that, and a lot of just everybody all over this motherfucking plane of existence. I'm gonna say planet, whatever, but I think I lost mine. Yeah, that's a cool thing. The children's. Cause matter of fact, I even thought about trying to do me a like do a second YouTube channel for the kids. I don't know. Allow for me to be silly, real silly. That's how like I like this whole time. Like a lot of times, matter of fact, again, you start to realize like that pure energy. I love the grown ups in my family. But I definitely find myself kicking it with the little ones a lot. They playing little games on the little whatever little computer devices, but also teaching them going out there through the football with them, teaching them how to really still be active and living. Oh yeah, the ADHD bullshit. I have a question about cyclomancy. What is it? And I'm soon about to go with you guys. Oh no, yeah, that I was in the mountains for the eclipse. Oh yeah. Uh, I forgot. My son, my sun sign. So Western 12 sign astrology: Sun Capricorn, Moon Aries, and sidereal astrology, where it deals with the true placement of the planets at the time. That that deals with for me, that's sun sign Sagittarius. Moon sign Pisces. I forgot the rising on one of them. I think the rising is Gemini for the 13th sign astrology. Yeah, I mean, it, its energy is just again just good to know that this bodysuit, uh, has certain little influences, due to the way the stars and stuff move. Oh yeah, I definitely meditated. And I done meditated and forgot where I was. Like literally, like before I opened my eyes, I would kind of just bust out laughing. Come like, bro, I can't remember where I'm at, because I done went that deep into, what I'm saying, like. And when you constantly, again, when you build a habit of constantly closing your eyes and going, into that realm, it's like yeah, like I could be here and then like, I'm like right as I'm about to open my eyes, get a representation of Yeshua. Matter of fact, I got plenty of videos on that, but I mean, down to the having, I forgot the name of the author of the book, but there's a book called 16 Crucified Saviors, which speaks on all the different stories of mythologies of certain deities, that have the same exact story as quote unquote Yeshua or Jesus. Letter J didn't even exist for Jesus to exist. Constantine, it's a fact that Constantine got into the Bible and had the two Nicaea councils where he tried to make this Christ energy a historic character. It was a fact. So it was a fact that you had 16 stories before it. So that just automatically that's smash mode. uh, is also an analogy for the sun passing through the elliptical. You know, uh, like around what March  21st, around like matter of fact in the Pisces area, because there's also the Christ energy, with the fish energy. We just come from the age of Pisces, but anyway, the sun, moving through the elliptical, moving to April 21st, it's rising. And when it gets up here to the Cancer area, the Tropic of Cancer, is where we have the most sunlight, you know. And then when it starts to go down, it's it's starting to be less sunlight in the daytime. Then they get to the equinox or the equalizer, the Libra, the scales, the Libra scales, you know, weighing it out before judgment. In essence, judgment before it goes into the underworld, which I could go this way with it or this way. But like until it goes into the just to keep in a circle, I'm gonna just do it like that. But then it goes into the descent, and there's less days. As a matter of fact, again at the equinox, September 22nd or 21st. It's the equal day and night. Libra season. And then coming down here, matter of fact, on this side I show it, but like the Scorpio, it comes down in this area, and that kiss from Judas, being sold out by Judas, was actually a kiss from the scorpion sting, you know. And this story coincides with not only the sun in the elliptical in astrology, but also as above, so below in our body. The zodiac signs are in our body, the Aries, again, from head to toe, from the ram of the Aries, Taurus, the neck, shoulder area, Gemini, and then I know, so what I'm getting to the Scorpio area of the body is the genital area. And say, for instance, dealing with the Christ seed energy or the Christ all within the body, which is also being talked about, because also the Christ all was in the manger. You know, the Christ all sits in the root, like around the base chakra. The root chakra is close to our ass, close to where we shit at. The manger, where animal shit is in our root chakra, is our lower nature. You know what I'm saying? So that Christ all is sitting at that root chakra right there, you know, and then it raises up, you know, and then it's crucified, you know, when the sushumna, you know, that middle the passageway of the spinal cord, you know, goes up and then it gets crossed by, you know, the Ida or Pingala or Adam and Eve or, you know, the what it positive and negative, you know what I'm saying? And also the two people that was on side of Jesus on the cross when he got crucified, where it was like one of them was like, if you Christ, why don't you save us? You know, being the negative energy. And the other one was like, oh man, let that man make it, you know, this and that, being the positive energy, you know. This is all allegory, you know, again, as above, so below. So not only, so and so when the, oh, and back to the aspect of the Scorpio, so like Judas selling out that the Christ energy within the body is if we have sex, you know, and you know, we just kind of have sex loosely and squander our squander, just releasing our Christ all, you know what I'm saying, without it being like an act of birth. That's why like as males learning how to uh which I'm no expert on, I'm learning more about it myself, but I just know techniques. But again, uh learning how to ejaculate, but basically learning how to have a orgasm without ejaculating, you know, and ejaculating out the Christ all. But again, having sex or dealing with that Scorpio area of the body, you know, you could, you know, mess up the Christ, you know, and say mess up, but you know, release it and they have to rebuild itself. And you see, well, when it's passing through, and this is all happening too, where the sun is actually passing through these constellations, actually in the sky, and even down to the sun, you know, the Son of God, you know, the sun walking on water. If you go outside, and you look at the sun shining over some water, you know, you can see the sun walking on water. You know, there's many different aspects, and again, it goes into the area of, you could say, December 21st, you know, in the Capricorn area. And matter of fact, you even got signs of Ophiuchus, because it's also the 12, you know, 12 apostles and also the 12 uh, tribes of Israel. But there's also a story about like some snakes biting at the heel of the horse, you know, or something like that. And that's also, again, a correlation of Ophiuchus dealing with Sagittarius constellation because of the horse foot, you know, the horse feet. But the Capricorn energy, again, like Capricorn being ruled by Saturn or Satan. You know, ooh, Satan, and you know, and you remember the sun descended into hell. He got played by Judas or Scorpio. You know, and and at this point, there's more night than daytime. You know, December 21st. But then from that point on, you know, the sun starts to rise. You know, or be born again. You know, or be born, I should say. You know, it starts to raise back up, you know, into what it is, the area of Pisces, you know. But again, that's an aspect of, you know, that Christ story. You know, Hercules knocking down the pillars, because also the different cardinal signs are these different seasons, like September 23rd, December 21st, March 21st. You know, June 21st is different little portals, that are like pillars or gateways, You know, so Hercules knocking down like all that 13, you know, becoming that 13, breaking out of those 12 disciplines or those 12 disciples or disciplines or apostles, you know, breaking out of that, becoming that number 13, you know, breaking out of the rulership of these gods or these 12, the 12 movie specialists that I just did a video on too. That's what I was kind of referring to on that, you know. You know, and you see the correlation of Ra, you know, the ram, you know, the ram Ra, the what it is, the ram is like the Lamb of God that take away the sins of the world, you know. Again, what Ra did with son, you know, Helios Biblios, uh, I think it's Biblios, Helios Biblios, the sun book, you know what I'm saying? It's all about sun worship. And also dealing with the connection to, you know, the the cat beings, the lion beings, because you see what it stemmed down to, like, well, you know, the Sphinx having a cat body. You know, matter of fact, you know, Rastafari dealing with the lions, you know, the lion of Judah, you know, or the lion of the tribe of Jehudi, you know, which also known as Thoth and some religions and stuff as well. But again, it's different references to, you know, the macrocosm, like, you know, from the you know, sun and different constellations outside the body, but which exists inside the body as well. You know, yeah, and the beginning of the Bible, that first, you know, like the God that seemed like he was just murking everything, like sacrifice this, murk this, sacrifice. You know, matter of fact, and I just was like, you know, they call, you know, actual human children, little kids, and a kid is like a baby goat. They used to sacrifice goats and lambs in the Bible, and I think about how, you know, with Molech worship, and you know, in America, and how they do that still to this day. You know, and it's like, you know, correlation. Well, you know, the the ram or the Aries energy of the, you know, the ram energy deals with Mars. You know, Mars deal with iron. You know, iron has 26 atomic numbers. And we talk about at first was the word at the beginning of the Bible, you know. Like at first with the word, and there's 26 letters in the alphabet. And again, 26 atomic numbers, you know, correlating to iron. You know, so you see all these different correlations. The ram or the lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world, you know. And the ram area deals with the brain, you know. And as above, so below. When you look at the, like, the brain, uh, you know, the brain stem connected to the little spinal cord stem, it looked like a neuron, you know, on some as above, so below. So our whole brain and spinal cord system looks like a neuron. That the little neurons is actually like within our brain, to show how we kind of in essence little walking firing neurons, but also like it also looks like a sperm. You know, to show, like, you know, again, solar phallic light, you know, the sunlight, solar phallic sunlight, and the ram or Ra dealing with the head, you know, and the cerebral area, the brain, you know, that's what the ram area deal with. And that looks like a sperm, and the sperm is also considered solar phallic light. You know, the sperm and the spinal fluid is one and the same. We go back to the Christ all that we was just talking about, and the ram, and also the correlation of how, you know, in essence, Yeshua is the devil, and the devil is Yeshua, both the morning star. But that's a whole different video for a whole different situation. But yeah, blessings, y'all. I'm about to be out though. Uh, Again, we always electing. You know, not just during election time. What we watching on TV, what kind of food we purchasing. You know, we even with our own spirit, how much time, paying tithes, you're giving that at least 10 minutes. It's a little more than that, but at least that 10 minutes a day meditation, a little 10 minutes to your soul, you know. Yeah, it'd be more than that, but at least, you know, some little time for for getting the soul together. But that's a vote. You know, that's politics. The body police. But I appreciate the love and support, y'all. Uh, again, Instagram is Universal Frequencies, spelled like it is, of course, like this channel name. Uh, if you enjoy the content in this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Uh, Also, if you enjoy any other information from any other videos or, want to support, the Epic Lifestyles brand and what I'm doing, any and all donations is greatly appreciated. The donation link is right underneath every video, mostly all the videos. I'm making sure that, and that's basically it. Again, appreciate the love and support, because if it's a symbiotic relationship. If I'd just be sitting here doing videos talking to nobody. Not somebody supporting and vibing. Not that I do this for people's attention. Gotta get that straight. Yeah, peace and blessings, y'all. Calico, Shimmer, Vesica, Wideezy. Yep, yep. Oh yeah, matter of fact, yeah, Lucid Blah, that Lucifer Saturn video, yeah, it's definitely an old video. I definitely had to speak on it more times since. That's why I'm doing my videos. I'm creating lists with the different years as well, like so you can see the different vibes, different like I said, you could catch videos that then got cleaned up, but also see the difference, in the growth of the information. But yeah, y'all. All right. That's about it, y'all. Any literature I got around me. Nothing new. Nothing new. Matter of fact, I think I did. I showed this one. Santeria, or the worship of saints. We're not worshiping around here. That's another thing too, and I'll leave on that too. Also not getting caught up in reliving, ancestors' old agendas, or like things again, like we evolving and moving past, certain old ways of doing things, and Now some things again gonna, and in essence that come from the old culture, and our roots, as it's coming, is also coming in a, in a evolved type of a manner in essence, but again, not being held back or hindered. Make sure when you're calling upon the ancestors, and dealing with energies, you dealing with the righteous things. Like you're not just calling, oh, the ancestors come to me, and it's like you gotta be specific. Do your extra research. But just had to say that because again, it's a balance. Dealing with the ancestor work, but again, not getting caught up in no, their old negativity or their old energy. Like, cause again, as above, so just like, you know, it was once, a lot of them still was once in the physical realm and had a lot of human bullshit they was dealing with or doing. You don't want that, holding you back or attached to you, stopping you from your spiritual evolution. But yes, y'all. Peace, peace. Happy now. Now the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. What you voting on with your attention. Attention is a currency. What you paying attention to. That's what you voting for. Politics.